My scouting career started like any other scout. My mother signed me up for Cub Scouts when I was about 6 or 7 years old, and I began with a tiger den with 2 other boys. As I progressed in the Cub Scouts, 2 things really happened. My den got bigger and I never won a Pinewood Derby. I crossed over into Troop 538 of Faith Lutheran Church here in Lewisburg and achieved my Arrow of Light. And for those who are unfamiliar with the Arrow of Light, it's the badge that is achieved by a Cub Scout, and it's the only badge you can wear on your Scout uniform when you cross over into Boy Scouts. My time with Troop 538 was definitely a learning experience for me. As I went through the ranks, at a very nice, steady, no rush kind of speed, I held a number of positions from assistant patrol leader, quartermaster, assistant senior patrol leader, and then finally junior assistant scoutmaster. There were not many meetings that I actually missed. Wednesday nights at 7:30, I was in the gym of the church and ready to go. I did, however, adventure outside of our usual Wednesday night meetings, and I went to summer camp every year since 1997 at Camp Carunan Hall. And Camp Carunan Hall is an absolutely beautiful camp along Penns Creek in Glen Iron, Union County. In 2005, I had the opportunity to attend the National Boy Scout Jamboree at Fort A.P. Hill, Virginia. And if you have ever seen a really large city grow by thousands in about a day, that's the National Boy Scout Jamboree. And the Jamboree is no longer held at Fort A.P. Hill. It's actually now in West Virginia at a camp that the Boy Scouts acquired. And as if that wasn't enough, in 2006, I went with a troop from Crotzerville to the beautiful state of New Mexico. And we did a backpacking adventure at Philmont Scout Ranch. And Philmont is a property that's owned by the Boy Scouts. It's 305,000 acres of nothing but backcountry of the Rocky Mountains. We hiked roughly 82 miles in just about 10 days and carried packs about 60 pounds each. I have to say, hiking through there was probably one of the best things I've ever done. It was just as mental as it was physical. On November the 19th, 2008, I sat across the table from a man widely known in Susquehanna Council who was affectionately known as Dad, or Herb Wyant, as he said, "Chris, you are, from here on out, an Eagle Scout." It was one of the best evenings of my life, and my mother will tell you that I got in by the skin of my teeth. I will tell you that handing my application in 2 weeks prior to my 18th birthday was my way of living on the edge. She didn't find that so funny. So, I was 18, I had my Eagle Scout, I was getting ready to graduate from high school. Where do I go from here? You know, many scouts will take their Eagle Scout and go off to the next part of their life and think of scouting as a distant memory of their childhood. I chose not to do so. I continued as an assistant scoutmaster for Troop 538 and even served as scoutmaster for a short time. In 2010, I began employment with the Susquehanna Council as a staff member at Camp Carunan Hall as their health officer. As a health officer, I would respond to emergencies, make sure children got their medications, which was a challenge all on its own, and teach merit badges. I absolutely loved working at camp, and unfortunately this summer is the first summer I'm going to have to miss since 2010, which kind of is a little heartbreaking for me. By now you're probably thinking, wow, this guy eats, sleeps, and drinks Boy Scouting. Well, I guess you can say that because scouting took me into adulthood, setting me up for success. I graduated Lewisberry High School in 2009. That fall, I enrolled into Pennsylvania College of Technology in Williamsport as a nursing major. Didn't take me long to realize that nursing probably wasn't for me. So I decided to go for a different major. I ventured across campus to the not so well-known major of Penn College in the basement of the Clump Academic Center, the old Williamsport High School, to the paramedic program. You know, it's really interesting because not a lot of people have actually know that there is a paramedic program even there. You know, our class was held in state-of-the-art labs with our own ambulance, a car that flipped 360 degrees, and sim men that probably cost upwards of $10,000 a piece. My educational experience was a success as I graduated with the paramedic class of 2013, and I received 2 humanitarian awards upon my graduation. Following graduation from Penn College, I began working as a paramedic for Evangelical Community Hospital. And I was actually stationed out at the newer station in Middleburg, running all of Snyder County. And then also I worked for Mount Nittany Medical Center. If you ask my family, they will tell you that they wouldn't see me for days because I would go from job to job to job to job, because that's just how I was. Currently, I reside in Seaford, Delaware, and work for Sussex County EMS as a paramedic. Our system employs over 100 paramedics, and we respond to over 17,000 calls a year, and this weekend will probably be a lot busier. I owe credit to Scouting program for my continued success from childhood into adulthood, making me a respectable and contributing member to society. My parents are to the credit for my success, as they supported me more than ever, and as I went through my Scouting program. My mother, in my opinion, deserved every single merit badge I earned, and even probably deserved her own Eagle Scout, she will tell you, so I'll admit to that. But who ultimately do I give credit for my Scouting experience? Do I give it to the leaders? Do I give it to the council board members for all the work they do behind the scenes? Do I give it to the support that the community shows to the Scouting program? Well, the answer is yes to all of them. Without the continued support from our community, Scouting wouldn't be what it is today at all. And it brings me to recognize Martha, or as I affectionately call her, Mrs. B, as I have since childhood. Martha has been one of a great family friend and my mother's colleague for as long as I could possibly remember. Martha sold us our house on 22nd Street in 1994, if I'm not mistaken, when we moved from Winfield to Lewisburg. Little did I know that her and her husband, Alan, just lived up the street. From making gingerbread houses around Christmas time, trick-or-treating every year, and then me delivering their paper for 5 years, Martha has been that supporter in our community and even showed her support when I got my Eagle Scout in 2008. Her philanthropic manner in which she brings to the greater Lewisburg area is something that is really hard to compete with. Tonight, we honor her dedication to the Scouting program, so these young men here tonight that did our flag ceremony get to enjoy the same experience I did. I'd like to leave you with a quick story that I tell up-and-coming Eagle Scouts when I sit on their Eagle boards, is think about, rhetorically, about how many US presidents were actually Eagle Scouts. You know, you're thinking, well, okay, George Bush, he made it to about Wolf. Bill Clinton, he got into Boy Scout, but didn't last very long. The answer is actually only one, and that was President Gerald Ford. President Ford, as he was aging and he was out of office, it was time to start planning for his presidential funeral. And he said, I don't want a presidential funeral. And they said, well, you have to. You were a president. He said, no, I don't. So they finally bartered with him to say that the only condition he was to have if he had a presidential funeral was that every single person involved in the carrying of the casket to the caisson and the honor guard had to all be Eagle Scouts. So a national search went out. They had enough Eagle Scouts to do his services without a hitch. And at a presidential funeral, you'll see high dignitaries, the president, heads of states, members of Congress and Senate sitting in the front of the church. It was the same way for President Ford's funeral, except for they had to sit behind the Boy Scouts that were invited to the funeral. That showed how much of an impact Scouting had on President Ford as well. One of my favorite quotes came from Sir Winston Churchill, who said, "History will be kind to me, for I intend to write it." Ladies and gentlemen, you witnessed Troop 509 and their capacity to continue to grow through the Scouting program, including, I don't know if you knew, but Martha's grandson, Hobie, was a part of Troop 509. And they are our future today. I talked about my Scouting history, where it led me, how it impacted my life, from the continued support from the community. Following the example set by Martha, it is our responsibility to support these fine young men, as history will be kind to them as they are writing it today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chris, for the reminder of what the investment in Scouting can mean. Now it's time to make the presentation to Mrs. B, her Distinguished Citizens Award. Jan Tippett, who was a friend to Martha and to me, the former publisher of the Daily Item, once said about Martha that she was one of about 30 people in this community that just seemed to do everything. And when you hear her resume, I think she did most of the work for the other 29 people as well. She's a member and past chair of the Board of Directors at Evangelical Community Hospital. She's a director of the Union County Affordable Housing of the Union County Planning Commission, of the Union County Environmental Action Committee, of the Union County Industrial Development Corporation, of the East Buffalo Planning Commission, the Redevelopment Authority of Union County. She was a charter member and committee member of the Union County Veterans 4th of July Committee. She's also a member and active supporter of the Lewisburg Downtown Partnership, the Eastern Union County Food Bank, the Campus Theater, the League of Women Voters, and the First Baptist Church of Lewisburg, over 42 years serving in various offices, currently on the Board of Finance and Worship. She's also served as past Vice President of the Greater Susquehanna Valley Chamber of Commerce. She's a past President of the Union County Chamber of Commerce and a past annual fund campaign chair for the United Way, along with serving for multiple years as a board member. She's a past board member for Sunbank and a regional director for Mellon Bank. And her involvement at Bucknell University includes a green room board member of the Wise Performing Arts Center and as a member and leader of the Town and Gown Committee. She also serves as an instructor for the Home Institute for the Housing Authority of Union County. And we are certainly not the first ones to recognize Martha's community service. She has already received the 2011 Distinguished Service Award from the Union County Veterans 4th of July Parade Committee, the 2009 Winslow Community Service Award from the Union County Housing Authority, the 2002 Union County Industrial Development Corporation Community Service Award, the 1997 Union County Chamber of Commerce Business Person of the Year Award, the 1995 Lewisburg Sunrise Rotary Club Distinguished Service Award, and she was also, in her spare time, selling houses, was named the 1988 Realtor of the Year from the Central Susquehanna Valley Board of Realtors. So it is now my pleasure to present the Distinguished Citizen Award from the Susquehanna Council of Boy Scouts to Martha Barrick. Martha?
Christopher, thank you. He gave up his time and drove up here from Delaware to today. And I'm going to start off with sort of revising my little speech, but in the beginning, when Ann approached me to do this, my first thought was, why would anybody attend for me? There's so many others that are more deserving. And after at least once or twice a week for a month or so, I finally agreed to do it because she would stand outside my door and would not leave me alone. So I told her I would do it only if Christopher could come. So thank you, Christopher. So I know the afternoon is getting late and that you're all anxious to get home. So I'll only take another minute or more to thank you and to say how much I appreciate your attending today's event in my honor, and also to support the Boy Scouts of America, the Susquehanna Valley Council. A special thanks to Josh, and I'm going to get this wrong, Travetz. Did I get that right? Travetz. No problem. And my grandson, Hobie Beauseigneur, and his scout friends from Troop 509 who participated in today's activities. Further, I am truly grateful for all the work that I know is involved in this to Ann Hilliard, Kendra Ocker, John Meckley, and Diane Mikesell. So thank you for organizing this event. When Ann started asking, I kept thinking, what does Distinguished Citizens Award really mean? So I went on the internet and I pulled up, actually, the Boy Scouts of America Distinguished Citizens Award. And in Googling that, I found out that the Scouting has a history of honoring people who have made a significant voluntary contribution to their community. I believe that every person in this room today makes that same contribution. We're all willing to help others who need us and to be there helping and observing, and even if you're physically not able to help, you're financially doing that for the community. I really dislike being in the limelight, Terry. said I wrote that. It's just not my comfort zone. Frankly, I just would have feel really uncomfortable about this whole thing because I do know that every one of you deserve this award as well. So I just want to say thank you for coming. Thank you for supporting Scouting, and have a safe trip home. Thank you.
If I could call upon Fred Keller, Fred, for one more presentation to Martha.
I just want to make you uncomfortable for a little while longer. I appreciate the opportunity to be here this evening. I'm reminded of the old saying that behind every successful man is a great woman. Well, Alan, you must be one heck of a successful man. I'll tell you that right now, because Martha has done so much. She's such a great person to our community, to individuals within the community, and she's truly the role model that sets the standard for how we should behave, and just someone to aspire to get to the level she's done. Selfless, that's Martha. She really cares about our community. Makes you proud to be a member of this community here in Lewisburg and Union County, to know Martha. Linda Culver this evening is at another event, and she's making the apologies that I can't be there, but she would have loved to have been here this evening to congratulate you herself. We do have a citation from the House of Representatives from Harrisburg, signed by the Speaker of the House, and both Linda and I congratulating Linda, listen to me, Martha on her achievements. We thank you so very much. It's people like this that make our communities very strong and make Pennsylvania a great Commonwealth. Thank you.
Thank you again for this award and for coming.